Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be reacting to...
Israel is staying in Eurovision. What now?
Israel is staying in Eurovision. There's a lot of factors to talk about within that, but that's the headline. On Thursday, the European Broadcasting Union held their General Assembly, at which they voted to keep Israel in the contest. Except, that's not exactly what they did. Instead, the organisers decided that the best path would be to hold the voting integrity of the contest to ransom by conditioning a vote on Israel's participation on the rejection of new rules designed to safeguard the legitimacy of the results. Before I get ahead of myself, because I'm going to come to it in a minute.
I don't understand anything he just said. What?
Let's quickly check the context. The effect of all of this is Spain, Ireland, Slovenia, and the Netherlands have all withdrawn, and Iceland is going to make a statement next week on whether they will join that group. We've lost some of the countries who are among the contest's greatest and longest standing institutions. It looks at present as if we're going to see at most 35 countries on the stage in Vienna, the lowest since semi-finals were introduced 20 years ago. All of this on the contest's 70th anniversary. In the time since this decision, I've seen a level of hurt and upset in the Eurovision community that I have never seen anything close to before. And as a result, I think I want to use this video to go through some of those emotions, verbalize why it hurts so much, understand better why we're so angry, and to be blunt, why we feel cheated and robbed of something that we've held dearly to our hearts, in many cases, for our entire lives. Over the last 2 years, we have witnessed the most brazen and blatant political manipulation of the contest in its recent history. There's something almost cartoonishly evil about the way Israel has approached the contest in 2024 and 2025. Whether that's actively manipulating the vote through huge state-funded multi-million euro advertising campaigns, encouraging people to vote the maximum number of times and test the voting to its limits, engaging in a widely documented...
Yeah, they made the changes,
Yeah,
so
it's
you,
not a
you,
law.
you can do that, yeah.
campaign of harassment against both artists and press, or on a more basic level.
That's the thing, you know.
Like it's got a
Click the wrong
story to
button.
tell.
I feel like a lot of like these Eurovision people, they're very left-leaning, right? And they also live in their own echo chamber, which is it's an echo chamber. The Eurovision community on YouTube, on at X, wherever, it's an echo chamber because we see how these people, and by these people I don't mean like just him in particular, but like how Eurovision super fans, I guess maybe that's the word, how those super fans predict and view the songs and what reality happens when the votes come in. And I'm not talking about Israel here, I'm talking more notably, for example, Belgium last year. Everybody was like in the super Eurovision super fandom. Everybody was like, oh my god, this is like a top 5 song. What happened? Reality hit, like a ton of bricks, no renovation, right? So that's the thing. I think within the Eurovision super fandom, the Israel, of course, is everybody's like, oh, boycotting, that's it. Within the global context of Eurovision, I think nobody cares. Well, 4 countries cared, they withdrew, good for them, but regular people, I don't think they give a fuck. And Eurovision, of course, he feels hurt, and I'm sure a lot of people in Eurovision super fandom are hurt, but at the end of the day, that's like a 1% of all people that actually watch and vote for Eurovision. So monetarily speaking, I don't think Eurovision actually, like EBU, I don't think they care. I think Israel brings more money than it would be to, you know, if they cut Israel, they would lose more than those other 4 countries. They have to do the math.
I feel like they have to actually witness, okay, they're taking a hit taking a hit from this, so for them to change.
That too, maybe they just, you know, they
or maybe do a little bit of these changes to kind of satisfy, you know, some conditions, but still like satisfy the country Israel.
Maybe they were calling their bluff. Maybe they thought, okay, let's see if they actually withdraw. You know, maybe that's what it was. I don't know, but
I wonder what this changed for him.
For who? Him? Oh, I don't know.
Described both by domestic Israeli human rights organizations and international organizations and the UN as a genocide against the Palestinians. The president and prime minister of the country literally have ICC arrest warrants out against them for suspected war crimes. In 2025, finally, it did feel like something might be done about it. Not just in Eurovision, but across society, there was a groundswell of support this year to start taking action to prevent Israel from committing further acts of horror. The European footballing body UEFA came within a whisker of banning them from their competitions before backing down. Sadly, at the first opportunity to revert back to the status quo. Following the establishment of a fragile ceasefire in Gaza, the entire world seems to have collectively forgotten that the last 2 years even happened. The EBU, having been pressured into scheduling an extraordinary meeting in November where, in theory, Israel's participation would be voted on, initially went quiet and then did a U-turn, merging the discussion into their General Assembly, which took place in December, with no promise of a vote. When that time came, 8 countries demanded a secret ballot anyway. At this point, according to the constitutional rules of the EBU's General Assembly, a ballot should have taken place. Instead, the EBU denied this. The EBU presented broadcasters with a choice: either accept the new regulations to safeguard the integrity of the voting process of the contest, or instead reject these just to have a chance at a vote to remove Israel. In a sense, blackmailing those broadcasters by holding the prospect of another manipulated Israeli televote victory in 2026 over their heads if they weren't successful in removing them from the contest.
So basically, what he's saying is they were only gonna hold a vote for Israel if they disagree with the new rules. Is that what's happening here? Because that's how I understand, but that doesn't make any sense. What does accepting new rules have to do with Israel's participation? I'm confused.
On that second vote. The dishonesty of this is honestly pretty staggering. This went beyond simply attempting to safeguard the contest or whatever other nonsense that the EBU is peddling now. This was a blatant partisan defense of Israel by the supposedly apolitical organizers of the event. And in that moment, more than ever before, the EBU demonstrated that they are fundamentally unfit to be the custodians of Europe's last remaining common cultural experience. Worse than that, they are actively debasing and vandalizing it. Some fingers do need to be pointed here, and I'm pointing them at Germany and Austria. According to several insiders that I've spoken to, it is their governments and their broadcasters who abused their positions on the EBU's executive board to force these two issues to be fused together. This is before I get to the fact that the Austrian Broadcasters Director General literally went to Israel last month to meet with the Israeli president and assure him that he would do.
Headed to a holiday party? Say thanks for hosting with a little extra sparkle. Ooh, cookie butter dark chocolate.
Everything in his power to keep Israel in the contest. For his part, the Israeli president has been doing a kind of victory lap in Israeli media where they are all.
I mean, I can kind of see it, I guess, from Germany, Austria perspective. You know, what happened in the Second World War with Hitler, right? And the Jews. So, like, they're really taking it like the complete opposite, and right now they're riding for Israel, you know, like, okay. So, like, polar opposite, you know, of that.
Yeah.
I guess I can understand from that perspective that, you know, from their view, Israel can do no wrong because we have done so much wrong to them, to like Jewish people, that, you know, at this point they can't do no wrong to us, so we always gonna ride or die for them.
It's overcompensating. Yeah.
But I mean, I would argue this overcompensated, but I'm just saying from their perspective, maybe that's how they view it. Because, you know, why it is Germany? Why is it not France?
Yeah, that's what may even make it the situation more odd.
Right. I feel like it's Germany because of history. It has to, because of World War II. I don't know.
Lavishing praise on him for setting up a unit specifically to keep Israel in the contest. These are the people who supposedly are against political interference. If this feels maddening and frustrating, and if this feels like you're being told not to believe the evidence of your eyes and ears, that's because that's exactly what's happening. All along, right since I made my first video on this issue almost 2 years ago, I've highlighted that Eurovision basically acts as a mirror of wider European politics. This is because public broadcasters, being either directly funded by the state or funded by a license fee, the application of which is controlled by the state, are therefore bound to the geopolitical positions of the states they represent. Spain, Slovenia, and Ireland, as fiercely critical countries of Israel, are therefore natural, expected countries to engage in a boycott. The Netherlands is a bit of a special case. The Dutch political sphere and Dutch society more generally are rightly outraged at the double standards between how they were treated by being disqualified in 2024, while Israel seems to be able to get away with literally anything and not face any sanctions. It makes total sense that these 4 broadcasters are the ones that have chosen to withdraw from the contest. Yeah. Naturally, that means, as much of Europe has rallied to Israel's defense, or attempted to maintain some kind of neutrality, some may call this denial, broadcasters have followed suit. As a result, the contest has adopted the same tactics that wider society has. Ignore what can be ignored, selectively see what can be selectively seen, and make false equivalences where false equivalences can be made. I feel exactly the same way most of you do. I've followed this contest essentially my entire conscious life. I've built up a YouTube channel around it. It's become so central to me and to my life that engaging with it and reporting on it is literally what puts food on the table. I find myself asking the question today of what's next? And there's a lot of emotions that I'm still processing that mean I can't fully answer that question at present. I'm going to take some more time to consider what it looks like going forward for this channel. And there are things that I'm going to have to make decisions about further down the line. For now, I'm going to focus on what I'm sure about. It's not a secret that over the last 2 years, I've been really critical of this contest. I've been critical of Israel and Azerbaijan's exploitation of it for political ends. I've been critical of the use of AI, and I've been critical of the vulnerabilities of the voting system. Sometimes I've been emotional and angry about this. All of this is because I love this contest. I love the joy that it has brought to me and so many others. And I love the stories that permeate through every part of it. Ironically, the thing that fascinates me about Eurovision the most is studying what it says about the world around us and the ways in which it is a reflection of wider European society. That's why, for example, when I was talking about...
I mean, I don't know how he feels about like the competitions within the countries, because that's still going to happen regardless of not if
I mean, Eurovision is gonna happen too as a contest. It's just 4 countries withdrawn now. You know, that's that. What happens with the other countries we're about to see. But yeah, I think the national contests are gonna go on. Eurovision is gonna go on. It's gonna be interesting to see. You know, like a lot of people were saying before this, they're like, oh, they're gonna stop, you know, following Eurovision, reacting to Eurovision if it does happen.
yeah.
So it's gonna be interesting who's putting their money where their mouth is, you know, because like for him too, he built a channel. So you know, is he gonna stand on principle or is he gonna, you know, need to make a living? Because I no judgment. I don't, you know, you gotta make a living. You gotta make a living. So
I think he's preparing us that, you know,
You
that
know,
he's gonna still.
yeah, like you gotta make a like ain't
Course.
nothing wrong with that. But that's kind of the point though. Like why Israel is getting away with whatever it's getting away with. Because guess what? People involved in that, they still gotta eat, so they're allowing Israel because Israel controls a lot
But
of
you
money.
can still allow it to happen, watch it to happen. You do your reaction, but then you still say what you have to say, because you know it. I don't know if this looks good. Like, if I was Israel, I would want people to think like, we could win this and not win by cheating. We just, you know, we just have our own ways of doing it. But if this
Allegedly cheating.
this is if this is outlawed, and we have to all follow the rules. I mean, I would like to see how drastically the results, if they do change, and where they land.
I think there's twofold of an issue. Like one is the alleged cheating. Two, I think is the principle about the genocide.
Yeah,
think
and it's being blurred.
Right. I think the issue of cheating, it seems like there are corrections being put in that place. So that should kind of hopefully avoid it. If Israel still places super high, well then after 2026 Eurovision in May and June, we can sit here and talk about what happened, you know, look at the data and see how did this happen. You know, I don't know.
But then the other question is like, do you allow a country to participate when they're active in war?
They don't. Russia can participate. You know they don't. We watched the
do
video
they
why Israel
consider-
shouldn't participate, and there were some valid points there.
So do they consider what Israel going through? Is it the war? Have they declared it as a war? Because then
I don't know
logic
what they
still
consider it.
follows.
I don't know what they consider it to be.
the Serbian national final last year, my primary focus was on how it was interacting with the widespread student protests going on in the country at the same time. Unfortunately, because of the clear-eyed and honest approach that I've adopted when reporting on this contest, I have faced attempts from the organisers to shut me out. That's exactly what happened when my accreditation was rejected for 2025. As we proved together in the weeks leading up to that contest, after I got that news, those attempts were an abject failure. This decision this week is an attempt to send the same message to the Eurovision fandom at large. To the young and vibrant fandom that has fallen in love with this contest in the last 5 to 10 years, the aged and obsolete institutions that govern it do not care about you. Again, this mirrors the wider political scene in Europe, in which young people feel ignored and disenfranchised at every level. What brings me the most anguish now in a Eurovision context is that all the things that we love about this contest are still in there somewhere. The philosophy and outlook on the contest that makes me love it still exists. And most critically, these things can only exist in the way they do as a shared, communal, pan-European experience through the prism of this contest. There will not be another Eurovision. This institution cannot be replaced. Once it's gone, it's gone.
Well, there's Intervision if you're interested.
Those moments that we
No, I
love,
don't
that
think he
bring
is.
joy, are everywhere. You can find them in the artists competing in national music competitions all across Europe, often from countries where their language and their size usually completely bars them from being celebrated in front of a mass audience. We get to witness them having that opportunity and seizing their moment in the spotlight. We can find that joy in the cultural expression, the indispensable cultural expression of countries like Ukraine and Moldova, who are facing the grip of authoritarianism and Russian imperialism, but continue to have Eurovision as a vital outlet to show the world their culture. We can find that joy in the crack of light that the contest has represented for so many LGBT plus people living in countries, both participating and not, who are determined to erase them from public view and force them underground. I want to find a way to continue to celebrate these things without feeling like I'm running cover for an organization that seems determined to render all of them irrelevant. That's kind of what I've been trying to do for the last 2 years. I want to show my enthusiasm and how much I love this event, while also helping people to see the real stories underneath and why they matter. Whether that's entries in national finals with political undertones or hidden messages, or the machinations of the organizations behind the scenes, or on a more basic and human level, trying to portray what these human beings who are the artists in the contest are going through in a truly bizarre and unique environment. Whatever I spend the next 6 months doing has to be consistent with those things. That's as far as I've gotten to this point. I don't know what it's going to mean in a practical sense. I don't know what it's going to look like. I would honestly really like to hear from people as to what they would consider.
Business checking has always been just checking. Until now, introducing U.S. Bank Business
I want to
Essentials.
see the comments what people
Feeling
gotta say.
right at this time. There are a great many political analysts who have written and spoken at great length over the last 2 years about the wider issues that have dominated and that have affected this vote. As I have always done, I encourage you to seek them out and to learn from them. What I am qualified to talk about is Eurovision and to speak
you
about
shocked
how I
overall?
personally feel right now.
About what?
Eurovision's decision.
I don't know.
We were shocked when they say they're changing the rules that they were gonna reduce how much money they were gonna get by limiting calls. That was shocking for us, because that kind
That
of
was
showed there
shocking.
was they're serious about this. It's
That
not about
was actually
money.
shocking. I don't know.
I think they're
man.
trying to play both sides. I mean,
I think,
they're trying
honestly,
their best to make everyone happy.
What I think has happened is that they called those 4 countries as bluffs, right? They said, "Oh, we're gonna withdraw," and Eurovision was like, "No, you're not. Israel's staying," and they did. And now we have a problem especially because of Spain. Spain is one of the big 5, right? Or big 5, I think. So I don't know. Am I shocked about? I don't know. Like I'm cynical, right?
I also think Spain is tired of placing low too. So they low-key
so.
wanted to take this time out too.
I'm a cynic in the sense that I don't really feel like the people have the power. So based on that view, I kind of expected that, I just don't think that we can talk as much as we want. We don't really have any power in whatever the people behind the scenes are gonna decide. It's irrelevant to what we feel, And so that's why, like, I don't really expect whenever people put like commotions about it. I don't expect nothing to change. So I guess by following that logic, I'm like, okay, this makes sense. The thing is, like, especially I guess because I'm from the east side of the Europe, the Berlin Wall. In the Western world, people do believe they can change stuff, and they have changed stuff. But from where I'm from, can't really change.
You gotta
shit.
work together to do that.
Yeah.
So
So
it needs a lot of cooperation.
I think from people for the West, for them is like they believe they can change, and it's heartbreaking to see they actually can't change shit.
It's only 4.
But for me, I don't. It's like I didn't. If they wanted to remove it, they would have removed it. And the issue, bless you, when the issue initially arose, not now. So
Yeah.
that's my thing.
Are all devastated. And right now, I understand why it feels so hopeless. But I also know that these aren't the only things that you are feeling. My audience has an average age in its early 20s, which means, like me, it's an audience of people buffeted by fears of climate change and spiraling inflation and housing costs and ever rising unemployment. It's a generation which studies and polling show are more alienated from political and public institutions on every level than any generation that has come before it. It becomes very difficult to fight for anything in this environment. Eurovision is escapism from these problems for a lot of people. And when the escapism becomes poisoned by the same politics that so many people feel has weighed so heavily on every other aspect of their lives, it makes it so easy to simply walk away and to try and seek out the few remaining corners that exist where that hopelessness has not yet made itself normal. We came to Eurovision for a reason. There is something in this contest that makes you and me as superfans connect to it on a deeper level than simply enjoying the show. It represents or represented something about you and me that matters. Unless we defend those things, they are going to wither away. Right now, because Eurovision is going to continue to exist, the battle for its soul will continue. I refuse to cede an inch. I refuse to cede an inch on the actual, radical, utopian vision that Eurovision represents to me as a genuine beacon of justice, of acceptance, and of cultural celebration. A
Utopian.
contest that gives a voice to the voiceless and to those who most need their moment of affirmation with the entirety of Europe as their audience. A contest that genuinely unifies people, even for a brief moment in a world where authoritarianism is once again rearing its head. This is what I expect from Eurovision. Eurovision, and this is what we must demand from it. We cannot allow others to dictate the narrative, and we cannot allow Israel to abuse it, to create a mirage of
I'm
wide
so
public
curious
support
to
for their
what
actions.
his comments are gonna look like.
We'll see.
I refuse to cede an inch. The feelings are still raw, and we don't know what this defense is going to look like yet. There is a lot of us, and a lot of good can come from our actions. I will do my best to stand for the values that I feel Eurovision should represent. That's all I'm asking from you two. Let me close by saying this. Ironically, paraphrasing the current director of the contest, if you want Eurovision to show the world not as it is, but how it could be, if you believe like I do in the positive vision for what Eurovision can and should be, if you can find it in yourself to keep fighting for this contest, then you should do just that. I know the contest that I believe in, and I know the world that I believe in. I will defend it.
Okay, let's see these comments.
I didn't get the what now. What's the now?
Apocalyptical unless you're brutal. What? Oh, apolitical. I said apocalyptical. What the fuck? Apolitical unless you're brutal. Atari tried to warn us. I swear if I hear a single thing about the apolitical nature of the ESC after this, I'm going feral. Call me Angelina Mango singing Imagine at the ESC 2020 press room. At all of this is utterly surreal. I cannot believe it led to this. You know, shit hits the fan, and even the Daily Telegraph posted an editorial headline saying Eurovision may never recover from this.
Maybe we're gonna see. We're gonna find out.
I
don't know. This
People
is like,
not really saying if they want him to keep doing this.
Mm.
For me personally, it means I won't watch 2026.
This is only my third Eurovision, and this is too much. This is too much.
Yeah, interesting.
This is a lot.
Yeah, for us, if you guys are wondering, we are gonna keep reacting to it. For me, I react to Russians, and you know, Lithuania and Russia do not have the best of the relationships. So I can put all of that aside. Not really into I mean, obviously politics. What matters here in the States, but like world politics, whatever they do, there's their business. They gotta figure their shit out. It's always disputes everywhere.
I do like the rule changes.
Yeah, the rule changes are promising.
I want it to be fair because I do want the best song that is selected properly to win. So I do like seeing that. Just the third year watching, there's a lot of talented people, and it'd be a missed opportunity to, you know, punish everybody for the one, you know, that's creating issues.
And for me, like honestly, out of all reactions, Eurovision is like the highlight of the year. So like we were just talking about this a couple days ago, that this is like really the most fun reactions is like Eurovisions and like award shows, you know, like those are like the two most interesting things to react to. So definitely I want to watch Eurovision. Israel there, Israel not there, I don't particularly care.
I just think overall there just should be an investigation overall for cheating to make sure, because there has to be like some sort of like.
But again, I don't think it's about cheating. I think this is about their existence period because of the genocide. You know, I think as far as the cheating is concerned, I think nobody really has a problem with the way they addressed it. I think the problem is that this according to the rules, if you at war, if you committing war crimes, you cannot participate. Which how they cut Russia, how they cut Belarus. I think that's why they cut Belarus.
Yeah.
But
that's
Israel is allowed.
That's a tough one.
I think that's the issue. I think the issue becomes that Israel considers Palestine terrorists. So is it not really a war because they're I don't know. Again, I'm not really into that thing. I don't know enough. I don't care to know enough. I have other shit to worry about in my actual life than to care about what's going on there.
I think even Eurovision think this is a bigger issue than for them to make that decision, because then you're asking like, I don't know, the UN, NATO, all the countries, what's the Euro League, they have to decide what's going on too.
I think you're kind of right.
I think that problem, they said this is not us a Eurovision. This is
I think you're kind of right. I think this is I think you're right. I think maybe they are waiting for UN to declare this is a war, this is a genocide, or maybe UN has declared it. I don't know. If UN has declared, then we are wrong. I don't know if they have declared that.
Because right now,
but you are kind of right. They're a music competition.
They're letting everyone, make their own decision, because this is private organizations. no one is forcing a private organization what to do to handle like who gets involved into, you know, the competition. But obviously people are uncomfortable, and I think their target is not with Eurovision. I do think is higher up, the people who are actually in government responsible for those things, not
Yeah,
someone responsible
I
for a
think
singing competition.
I think you're onto something. I think it's a little bit unfair to
Yeah,
hold
it's
Eurovision to
unfair.
make this decision when the governments
Yeah.
haven't done shit. I think this is for the governments to do something first, and then Eurovision follows. I think,
It would be easy for Eurovision
yeah,
to follow when there's a declared act to say, okay, this is like unacceptable.
yeah.
Right now, everyone is like, I don't know, I don't know, I
Yeah,
don't know.
I think this puts Eurovision in a predicament of a decision making that they just not ready for. It's kind of like a big decision to make. That's again kind of not really their decision to make too. So
Because also, I want to think of Eurovision side too. Like, if this is their money,
yeah,
you
because they
know?
say the Moroccan oil is actually Israeli company. So
Yeah,
if they cut that Moroccan oil thing, maybe that's the biggest
yeah,
money maker, you know.
yeah. If this is their money,
Which why is
they have to,
Israeli company called Moroccan oil?
I don't know. But if this is their
No
money,
sense.
they're also thinking also self-preservation too. Even though for others it can be considered selfish, but it's a private organization putting on, you know, a competition show for the world to be invited to participate. Now, if more countries were to not participate and it affects its pockets, I do think, of course, Eurovision is gonna
Yeah,
change, you know, their methods.
I
Okay,
agree.
we can't have Israel in because this is too much of a loss. But until they feel it, the pinch, they have a right. They should have a right to preserve themselves too.
I I think, you know, if four countries withdrawing is not enough, of course Spain hurts, is a big country, a lot of votes, but it's not enough. If 12, 13, 15 countries withdrew, I think that's would reconsider things. But four countries,
Yeah.
we're getting new countries this year. What are some of the new countries? I don't remember, but there were some new countries that are Moldova or Romania. One of them are joining for after a hiatus. There was someone else
This
that's
would be a
coming back.
big
Yeah, so it's like
situation.
it's gonna average out. So
But
like,
it's not to say not to complain, guys. It's just complain to the right people.
yeah, I think
Complain to the
complain
right
to the
people.
government. I think, yeah, this is,
It's a tricky situation, but I think they're complaining to the
yeah,
wrong people.
I think this is not Eurovision's fight.
At least they don't have enough to do something about it. You know, it's higher people need to take care of this.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, of course, let us know your thoughts. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Join the Discord, and as always, share as much kindness as possible.